moment you twist open a bottle of avocado oil, there's a tiny sound most people never notice. It's not dramatic, not cinematic, just a soft, crisp little pop, like a sigh escaping from a world sealed away. And then comes the aroma, faint but warm, carrying a whisper of something green and ancient and alive. It's such a small moment, isn't it? A moment that barely registers. Yet somehow, it feels luxurious, almost indulgent, as if you've just uncorked a secret that took a very, very long journey to reach you. Funny how that works. We drizzle it on salads, sizzle it in pans, swirl it into marinades, rarely stopping to ask the question that hangs just beyond the edges of that tiny pop. How on earth did this golden green liquid travel from a single avocado, hard, knobby, and stubbornly uncooperative, to this perfectly smooth bottle in your hand? What hidden world made this possible? And why does something so simple carry the weight of an invisible odyssey? Let's follow that journey backward for a moment, rewinding the tape until the bottle fades, the kitchen disappears, and we find ourselves standing in orchards where avocados grow like treasure hanging from trees. The air here is different. It has a thickness to it, scented with soil, sunlight, and the slow, patient work of time. Each avocado on these trees is not just a fruit, it is a carefully engineered capsule of oil, grown by nature but perfected by human understanding. You might think all avocados are the same, but the ones destined to become oil come from varieties chosen for richness, density, and a secret superpower, an unusually high fat content that transforms into an unbelievably smooth, buttery oil. Isn't that wild? A fruit that tastes like a vegetable, behaves like a butter, and produces an oil that some people call green gold. Now imagine workers walking between the rows in early morning light. Each crate they fill, not just a box of fruit, but a literal collection of tiny oil tanks waiting to be unlocked. And the moment those crates reach the processing facility, the story shifts entirely. The orchard was nature's realm. The factory, that's where the hidden kingdom begins. Step inside with me. Listen. You'll hear a kind of symphony that only machines can play. Conveyor belts humming in long metallic notes, steel drums turning with quiet authority, sensors clicking like tiny, polite metronomes. Yet nothing feels industrial or cold. It feels choreographed, as if someone taught machines how to dance. Those crates of avocados begin their first journey on large conveyor belts, where the fruits roll forward like travelers through an airport security line. But instead of X-ray scanners, they're greeted by high-pressure water jets spraying them clean, brushes flicking away dirt, dust, and leaves that hitchhiked in from the orchard. The process looks soft, almost spa-like, tiny green boulders tumbling through waterfalls and gentle currents. And it makes you wonder, if you could shrink yourself down and ride on one of those avocados for just a minute, what part of this little water park of a factory would astonish you most? Once clean and shiny, the avocados go through a sorting phase where cameras, yes, cameras with better eyesight than most humans, scan every fruit. They're checking for ripeness, imperfections, bruises. It's astonishing how they do it, detecting shades of green our eyes can't even see, calculating density with light beams the way a magician weighs nothingness in his hands. Good fruits move forward, bad ones are gently released from the line, like being pulled aside at security for having too much enthusiasm. Then comes the part where the factory stops being gentle, because now we need what's inside. The machines slice the avocados open with blinding precision. One smooth cut, two perfect halves. The pit, once the heart of the fruit, is removed and sent on its own journey to become compost or fuel. The flesh, oh the flesh, is where the magic hides. Soft, creamy, almost glowing under the lights. Every bit of that buttery goodness is collected into massive stainless steel mashers that start doing what humans did for centuries, turning fruit into pulp. But here's where it becomes enchanting. As the paddles churn and the fruit softens into something resembling neon green cloud dough, a warm fragrance fills the room. It smells like grass, and butter and sunshine mixed together. And all of a sudden, you understand why some people say avocado oil feels alive. It's not being cooked or pressured into existence. It's simply being invited out. The mashed pulp is then kneaded and warmed, but never too much. This isn't frying, it's coaxing. A gentle heat, almost like the temperature of a bath, encourages the oil droplets inside each tiny cell to loosen, to gather, to flow. Low heat keeps the flavor intact and the nutrients vibrant. There's a reason cold-pressed avocado oil is so prized. It's like capturing the fruit's personality without scaring it away. Now picture giant centrifuges, machines that spin faster than most carnival rides, waiting nearby. The pulp enters, and suddenly everything becomes a blur. Inside those spinning drums, the laws of physics become artists. Density decides destiny. The heavier solids fall outward, pressed against the drum's wall. The lighter, precious oil slips inward, forming a golden-green ribbon that flows out like a tiny waterfall. Watching it is mesmerizing. It gleams under the light in a way that feels almost ancient, like molten emerald, like something alchemists once dreamed about. And this is where I pause and ask you something. If you could reach into that flowing ribbon of fresh avocado oil just for a second, what would you be curious to feel? Its warmth? Its silkiness? Its surprising weight? Or maybe you'd want to know how something that started as a heavy, stubborn fruit could turn into liquid elegance. Isn't it interesting how curiosity changes the way we appreciate even the simplest things? As the oil completes its first extraction, it's filtered to remove any final bits of pulp. Filters so fine they could probably catch a whisper if it floated by. Some oils are left unrefined, rich, bold, deep green. Others go through a refining journey that softens the taste and color. Heat is controlled. Steam passes through like a gentle ghost. Impurities disappear. This refining step is a delicate paradox, removing so much yet preserving everything that matters. And that brings us to one of the most intriguing tensions in the entire process: the scale versus the subtlety. Factories produce thousands of liters of avocado oil a day, yet the process itself remains incredibly gentle. Isn't it beautiful how the world can hold contradictions like that? How something produced in massive volume still feels intimate, almost artisanal. It makes you wonder, do we underestimate how much tenderness exists in modern manufacturing? Or how much care goes into the objects we treat as ordinary? As the refined oil moves through stainless steel pipes, warm and glossy, it passes through a final polishing filter. Yes, polishing, like a gemstone being buffed until it catches the light just right. The oil becomes clear, bright, luminous, ready. The bottling area is a world of its own. This is where the factory shifts from earth tones, green fruit, brown pits, amber pulp, to shimmering metal, glass, and precision. Bottles glide along conveyors in perfectly spaced lines, standing tall like little soldiers preparing for duty. They're rinsed, dried, inspected by lasers, because of course lasers, and then, finally, the valve opens. The oil streams in, smooth and controlled, like time itself pouring into glass. And here comes my favorite moment, that fraction of a second where the bottle fills up and the light passes through the oil just right, turning the conveyor belt into a moving river of liquid gold. There's something poetic about it, something strangely emotional. Maybe because it's the moment where the entire journey becomes visible. Maybe because it's the first time the oil looks exactly the way you know it. Or maybe because it reminds us that everything beautiful in life is the result of countless invisible steps. Once capped, labeled, sealed, and packed, the bottles leave this kingdom of humming machines and enter trucks that scatter them across towns, cities, continents. And eventually, days, weeks, or even months later, one of those bottles ends up in your kitchen, waiting for the moment you twist it open, waiting to tell its story without ever using words. But let me ask you something. Now that you know what happened before that little pot, Do you feel differently about it? Do you ever think about how many hands, machines, trees, and decisions worked quietly together so something ordinary could become part of your life? Do you think we'd taste things differently, live differently, if we noticed the hidden universes behind everyday objects more often? Here's the beautiful finale of this journey. Avocado oil is not just oil. It is the sum of sunlight, soil, biology, engineering, craftsmanship, and imagination. It's proof that nature and innovation aren't at odds. They're dance partners. One grows the fruit, the other releases the potential inside it. Together, they create something simple yet astonishing. So next time you drizzle avocado oil on a salad or swirl it in a pan, take a tiny moment to remember its story. Let the golden color remind you of orchards waking in morning light, machines spinning with purpose, filters whispering secrets, and human minds deciding, carefully, patiently, how to turn nature's gift into something we can pour. And if this little journey brought you a sense of wonder, a spark of curiosity, or even just a warm smile, then go ahead, share it, subscribe, or tell someone else the story of how a simple avocado found its way into a bottle. Because the world becomes a more magical place every time we pause to appreciate the hidden effort behind the ordinary. And who knows, maybe the next time you hear that tiny pop, you won't just hear a bottle opening. You'll hear an entire kingdom coming back to life.
Approved for bottling.
Extraction yield is stable. Global volume for today has exceeded projections by 15%. All shipments are green across the Atlantic corridor.
Pressure nominal. Engage cold press sequence.